All right. Thanks, everyone, for coming out for the podcast and set. This week, of course, my guest is Heather Anne Campbell.
Hey, everyone.
Now, Heather, you and I have known each other for, and it's gonna start dating you when I say it.
You could. I mean, we've known each other since I
20
was
years.
Since, huh?
We've known each other for 21 years. I think it's 21 years now.
Yep. We've known each other for 21 years, which is pretty crazy.
And you were 14 or 15?
Yeah, right around there. Sure, whatever.
Yeah, because the math's going to start adding up.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, you can say I've known you since you were 14, and it doesn't ruin my life. Mm-hmm. When you're like, I've known you for 21 years.
I always thought that was
look like you.
I always thought that was crazy because I of course didn't know back then, but you used to sneak out of your parents' house at 14 or 15 and go to a comedy theater downtown to hang out and do the jam. Yep.
The jam. So an improv jam is the same. It's an improv jam. There was like a bunch of terrifying older men and me, and I would hang out and do short form games, or it was at the time. It was basically short form.
It was just games.
Yeah, and then I'd run away from Miles because I'd be afraid he'd card me.
Right. I was running the bar at the I.O. Chicago at the time.
Yep.
That was great because I remember there was one time because after you'd been there a while, I was like, that girl's pretty good. I'm gonna go, tell her she's pretty good.
Yeah, after I'd been there like a year, so I'm 15 then.
Whatever, she's 15, so it's you're trying to hedge the years. So I remember I walked up and I was like, that's pretty good, and Heather just looked at me like she was terrified, and I was like, what the fuck is this? But years later, it's funny. I think when you turned 21, I ran into you at the 25th anniversary of the I.O. in Chicago, and you sat down next to me at the bar, proud as a fucking peacock, like. Hi, Miles. I'm 21. I'm like, okay, I don't care. I haven't been there in a long time. But you did the I.O. in Chicago, and then you went to Boom.
Yes, I came to LA for a very short time, and did a little bit of Groundlings, and then I went to Boom in Amsterdam. Because there was I.O. here at the time was actually in this space and the one next door, maybe that way. So there was no I.O., there was no UCB. Groundlings was pretty much the only place you could do improv out here. I went through until they told me I was on like a 5-year waiting list, and then I was like, okay, and then I auditioned for Boom and went to Boom.
That must have been great. That's one of the things. I think the guys who started Boom came out of the I.O. in Chicago. Mm-hmm. It was the sort of thing that when Boom was finally up and really going, I was just too long in the tooth to be going over to Boom. But had Boom existed when I was in my early mid-20s, I'd probably still be in Amsterdam and dead.
Yeah, I did 3 years at Boom Chicago, almost 3 years. It's run by Pep Rosenfeld and Andrew Moskos. And Saskia Maas, a few others now, and they were all Chicago. Well, Saskia was in Amsterdam, but Andrew and Pep moved from Chicago to Amsterdam to start an improv place there because there wasn't one, and for a long time they made them a lot of money, and then tourism kind of died off because of 2008, but now it's back on the upswing. I feel bad saying that, but it's a good place to go now.
What, Amsterdam?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, for a while, it looked really hairy for the place for a while because of just how the whole global market crashed and everything fell to shit and nobody was traveling. So for a while, like...
That's Obama's fault.
Yeah. Obama, no.
Obama did that.
So... he wasn't... Okay, anyway. They had, like, at one point, I think early on, they had a 19-person cast... And in 2008, it was like a 4-person cast because there was nobody coming to the theater because there was nobody coming to Amsterdam. But it's back up to a bigger cast again.
So are you thinking about going back to Boom?
No. If my life falls apart and like everything I know and love here, it ends, then yes, I will move back to Amsterdam.
All right, Heather Anne Campbell, what's the most important thing in life?
that?
You know your answer. You know your answer. Say it.
Pride? No. No, it's not money. Miles is making the money. No, it's not money. I think it's just being able to sleep at night, however that you define that. So by that I mean that you make something that you're proud of, you work on some long-term project, you laugh, you love, you do all of those things, you remember that you're going to die someday, and then that's the most important thing, is sleeping well.
That's not a question. I wanted a real answer for it, and that's a real good, real answer. I was actually going to blow you some shit as a way of talking about how much fucking money you make because you work so goddamn hard.
I do work a lot, and that's, you can never talk about money.
I just did. No, I mean, it's amazing how much you've accomplished in work. I mean, you've done, whose line is it anyway, right? Mm-hmm. You're one of the main writers at Fox ADHD. I don't know what your title is there. I'm a writer at Fox ADHD, and I'm also a writer, though this hasn't been announced yet, but I don't think it matters, of the new Lonely Island, Paul Scheer produced Fox sketch show that will be going up next year. And then I write at ADHD and do Whose Line. I was thinking, who was the first person to get 11 million views or something? That was Eric. Yeah, it was Eric. Yeah. Eric Moneypenny. I work with Eric Moneypenny at ADHD, and he was the first. The number one viewed video on the channel is his. But I've always said that the reason I know how to write a viral video is Moneypenny and the Midnight Show, like teaching me how to construct material and content for an audience as opposed to for myself. Like, that you make stuff that people want to watch as opposed to what you think is funny. That instead you make what people want to watch in a way that you think is funny. And that, I think that distinction is why he has the biggest viewed video on the channel. So you're okay with that, with him having the biggest viewed? Yeah, I mean, I have 190 million views to his 50 million, so it's not... Yeah, but that's not the same as a single video having the most views, or the first video to hit 11 million views. Yep, that was really something. It's up to 14 million now, his. That's something. What are you I'm just poking. I know you're competitive. Let's see. So you were also part of the UCB's longest streak winning cage match team. Yeah. You and I did a show for 40. Well, we did the show for 50 weeks. We lost at week 50, so we were 49-0 at a cage match at UCB, which is really great. It must be. Are you getting nervous yet? That because I'm at week 30 with another partner. How the houses? I mean, the houses are just packed. But you're doing this over here. That's why. That's right. We're completely stealing all of UCB's people. Man, when Speed Face happens over here, there's 5 people in the house at cage match. There's nobody there, but only on Speed Face weeks. The rest of the weeks, it's all right. All right. No, but I hope that you and Becky Drysdale. Yeah, I hope that Becky Drysdale gets to 49 just to see what the fuck they do. It's because you're on both teams. Well, the truth is that when Heather and Miles, some of you know this, when Heather and Miles was supposed to, when we went up the first time, it was supposed to be Becky and myself, and she wasn't available that week. So I called Miles and was like, "Hey, dude, do you want to do cage match with me? Becky's not available for a few weeks, so I think we'll just." And we didn't expect. I mean, we went up against somebody who had been on a run for a while. We didn't expect to win. Yeah. Because I assumed that, like most cage matches, whoever brings the most friends, and I'm not bringing anybody, so I just figured we'd lose. Right. We only won by 4 votes. Yeah. And now, so that's why I'm performing with Becky now, because I owed her one. And also to see what they'd do if we get to 49. All right. You thirsty? You're drinking so much water, man. It's because I have to sit here talking. All right. And talking apparently makes me thirsty. And I'm bored. I'm bored with you.
Okay. Does
It's
anyone ever ask you
conversation.
questions?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Why do you want to ask me a question?
Yeah, let me ask you. Let me see if I can come up with a question. Do you think that improv has a future in and of itself? Meaning that it's not just a strip mine for people to take comedians and put them in other places. Do you think that there is a place that improv can go where people can do it as a living and make money without teaching?
Yes, but not in the sense that, like, I think the idea of improv exists and will always exist in the way we sort of understand it now, in a similar way to something like Tai Chi, right? Like Tai Chi, you don't necessarily get paid to do it, right, at all, but it will always exist. Is there a lot of money to be made as an improviser? I haven't seen it. I think it may come. It's hard to say because the value of it is spreading. Just like since the time I started, there was 2 places in Chicago that were doing the stuff I was working on, and now it's all over the world. And even people who don't really know what the hell they're talking about are like, hey, we need some improv in here. We need some of this. It's like, you don't know what you're saying, but yeah, you do. And I think eventually it will become something that is more profitable to the individual. So yeah, that's it.
You don't think it's a fad by chance?
No, not at all. I think it's absolutely a part of us. I think it's one of the most human things I've ever done. It's the exploration of everything through your perspective. It's what being alive is about. So yeah, I don't think that will ever die. That's why I put it right up there on par with something like Tai Chi, where you see, I could, in my dream world, I see a world where I see those pictures of, like, people in some place in China or something where they're doing Tai Chi in the streets at lunch or something, and I see it, hey, it's lunch, let's do a few scenes, right? Let's connect in some way, other than our shitty job. Because in a way, that's what a lot of us do anyway, right? Like you and I imagine if you and I were working on some job that was like a job that we didn't really want or like, if there was a break, it would just be filled with improv, right? And that would, save our souls. So no, definitely not a fad.
Okay.
All right.
Your turn.
My turn. All right, Heather Anne Campbell. Someone's coming in late. That's fine.
Do you ever take questions from the house?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
Usually not this early.
All right. I'm just.
Usually my guest
know
is
how this
interesting
works.
and has something more to say.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Just blowing Heather's shit. Yeah, it's like I was thinking, like, I enjoy playing with you more than anyone I've ever enjoyed playing with.
I'm extremely good.
Yes, you are. You're extremely good. And it was funny because I know that we look at it completely differently. Primarily because I look at it in part as a teacher, whereas you don't really look at it as a teacher, more just as a pure player. But I find it interesting that I think we play almost identically as far as, like, the way the things we wind up doing. I'm just like, man, this is just so what I would do.
Something that you've said to me, that because I don't like talking about improv with you because I don't want to see the way that you see it, because then there's sort of a loss of joy for me on stage when I can be like, oh, if I do this, Miles will do that. And I like the sort of active discovery in improv and the serendipity of it. And the reactionary feeling in improv. But one of the things you've said that I love and applaud is that we both know how to lose on stage. Yeah. And I think that losing in improv is so important. I think that not losing a scene, but losing status, knowing that the funniest thing to do isn't to own the building, but rather to be like, to be poisoned. Like, both those, it's so much funnier to get shot than it is to shoot somebody in comedy. So, like, when you're in a standoff, and if it's so much, there's so much power in loss.
It's almost always like, because I think the way that most players might identify with it, because I know a lot of even good players who don't know how to lose on stage, is that there's that moment on stage when you feel a sense of competition with the person you're playing with, which shouldn't be there, right? But it winds up there sometimes. It feels like, oh, this is almost like we're competing for this moment. And almost always when that happens, the winning move is the losing move.
Like if we're playing chess in a scene or something, it's weird to talk about improv before you do improv. If you're doing chess in a scene and I'm like, oh, well, check this out, and I do something, and you just you look at the board and you're like, that's not even a move. You moved the chess, you lost. It is so much funnier for me to say yes to that as opposed to like, you don't understand how I play chess. Like that's right. Boring. It's so boring to just be like, it's more funny to me to be like, oh my God. Oh, I failed. Oh, my family. Oh, I came to Russia. Yeah. They're going to be killed. Like, that's so much more, that's funny. Right.
One of the things that you said to me was just a phrase like, make it worse.
Yeah.
Because I'd never thought that succinctly. It's as far as, just make everything worse. No matter what it is, just make it worse for people. Because, comedy to me is dark in part, if not in a large part. I was thinking like the so much comedy, like you go back to like slapstick and stuff, people laughing at people falling and getting hit with shit. Stabbed. Not me. It's some other guy getting beat up. But yeah, just make it worse. And that's losing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's a high end one to get to.
And I also think that there's a sort of playful, there's like a mischievousness because we both know that the other likes to lose. So sometimes the only way we can win is to make the other person lose faster than they can invent the loss.
Right.
So to be like, I'm so sorry you have cancer, and you'd be like, I know. I came in here for what else is wrong with me. It's like, oh, no, but we cured it. You're like...
No. Well, that ties into a thing you said that I don't really... I would never teach this, but I know you do it. I know it's part of how you play, which is you like to fuck with the other player on stage. Like I know in shows we've done where you literally... on purpose have stood behind me where I couldn't see you and started basically doing something to make the audience laugh. And whenever I turn around, you'd stop. So that basically I'm out of the loop. It's like, all right, she's fucking with me. Which to me is like, of course, but by the book, that's terrible. You should never, ever fucking do that. But I get that that's also part of the joy.
Yeah.
Like some of the, it is, so funny. Some of the happiest times that I can feel is on stage when you're breaking. When you're breaking, it's an honest break. You can't help it. It's like it feels stupid. You try not to break, but then you're breaking. But that feeling is like that's joy.
I think the hardest I've ever made you break was the last show.
It was funny because I laughed out loud, and it was funny because I knew the line was coming. Because I saw the scene, I knew the line was coming.
We did a scene where I was a scientist in some kind of, I don't remember what.
Some sort of ridiculous scientist, and I was a straight man. I'd come in to get paid to be run through some tests or something.
And there was 2 cups, and one of them had like a spider under it, and I was like, so just take the cup without looking and drink the contents.
And it was supposed to be a spider underneath it, which didn't make any sense. Like, if there's a spider underneath the cup, I pick up the cup, the spider's going to run away. He's not in the cup. She just made some ridiculous thing about how to scoop up the spider and drink it. And then I just decided, I was like, all right, you know what? I can see which cup the spider's under because they're clear cups. I can see movement, so I'll just take this one and look, there's nothing in it. And as soon as I did it, I was like, she's going to say, now the other cup. Because this was at the end of a series of ridiculous things she was trying to ask me to do that my character was refusing to do. And as soon as I drank that empty cup, I was like, she's going to say, now the other cup. And I knew she was going to say it. And she was sitting there. And I could see the wheels turning. I could see the wheels locking in on it. And I was like, oh, shit. So I'm already starting to break a little bit. Partly because like I know what she's gonna fucking say, and she said it, and I laughed out loud, which was funny because to laugh out loud is something you see coming. But yeah, that was a big break. You break on. It's funny because you break a bit with me.
Oh, I
yeah.
love breaking. I mean,
Yeah.
like I'm not an actress. I don't have any of that. I don't know what that skill set is, but like I break when I'm writing my own sketches. Like, and it's true because like I'm like, oh, can you imagine if this was happening for real? So like I'm in my new job. People have actually talked about it. They're like, oh, Heather's making herself laugh again. I'm like, yeah, I didn't know this was gonna happen. Like when I started writing the sketch about whatever it was, I didn't know it would get here. And then it got there and I'm like, oh, that's so fun. What if that was reality? All right.
That is fun because I've experienced that too, and I always feel stupid. Like, gosh, I'm laughing at something I'm coming up with,
But
which
you're
feels
not.
stupid.
It's your-
No, because you're discovering it.
Yeah.
As you write something, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, what if this? And like, oh shit, that's funny.
Right.
It's like someone else just wrote it or something.
Right.
I was actually thinking, I am gonna a little earlier open up for questions.
Okay.
Just because I know you very well, so I don't really have a lot to ask you. But if anyone here has any questions, please feel free. Right there.
So you've both been doing improv for a long time. Do you ever find yourself when you're on stage making, I don't want to say like rookie mistakes, beginner mistakes, but getting up in your head or making a whatever a mistake is, and if so, how do you get out of that?
I think being in your head. So the thing that I know that Miles doesn't see the same that I do in improv is that I think your environment, that seeing your environment keeps you out of your head. So if you really, really, really believe that you are in a pet store, you can never be in your own head because like there's pets everywhere. Like it's more of a fugue state or like a dream or something where you can just look around the room, and even if you don't know what to say, it's like, ah, fuck, there's a lizard over here. What's the lizard doing? Like it's not invention, it's more like adaptation to an environment. Like I'm never in my own head. Well, that's not true. I'm in my own head more in my actual house than I am in an improv house because I don't know what's on the bookshelf in the improv house, and I can go over and look at the bookshelf and be like, oh, that's cool. This character's into cookbooks, and then like now I'm reading cookbooks and I say something about cooking and it inspires something. Like I feel like the reason people get in their head is they're looking for the proper thing as opposed to being in the thing. And the number one reason that I improvise is because I have to get out of my own brain and body and life for at least an hour a week, or I'll go fucking crazy. I'll just go crazy. Like you have to get, and when I started, I was pretty miserable. I'm not miserable anymore, so it's a different impetus. But like when I was young and I hated high school and I was so sad all the time. And so I would go because I could be a king on stage. I could be a king. And it didn't matter if the king was getting stabbed in the heart. It was like, oh, I'm not Heather right now. That's all that matters, is like I can be any kind of person in any kind of job or age or, background or whatever. So that was, I don't.
No, I agree. I've heard you say that before about seeing your environment. You said that to me once, and I was like, oh yeah, I do that. I hadn't thought of it that way, but I do that because I do remember scenes I've done as where they were. The in your head you're talking about is when you start letting yourself focus on your own thinking, right? Because your brain's always going to be on, right? So you're always going to be thinking in some way, but you can change where you put your focus. What Heather's describing is put your focus on your environment or on your character presentation. Because your brain's going to be moving, it's going to be firing. I think we both enjoy being in a state of constant reaction where our focus is on the things that aren't us. Because it's funny listening to you describe that, because one thing I always say to my students is the last person I want on stage when I perform is me.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
I never want to play me on stage. As soon as I can, I want to be someone else. But as far as making those mistakes, you're always going to make mistakes. This is an exercise in failure. There is no perfect show. Your batting average improves, but there is no perfect show. And almost always, if I make a mistake, it's the simple things. I didn't hear something. right? Or I invented something that I didn't need to. It's simple. They're all the same mistakes, always.
But also, mistakes imply an awareness of the audience in a show, and like I don't. I'm sorry. I don't care about the audience during an improv show. During a sketch, sure, I'm like, what is funny?
I care about you.
I don't. Like I would, if I'm in the audience and somebody believes that they're like a gondolier in Venice, I am more interested in, if there's no dialogue in that scene and they're a gondolier and they look down and they pick up something out of the canal and they like put it in there and they're like, oh, I'm gonna throw that away when we. That says so much about who that person is, and it all comes from just seeing the canal. And I would so much rather see that show than something that was just like the right moments all the time. I have an actor friend who said that one of the best things that Brando'd ever done in a scene is he's talking in some monologue in The Godfather, and he looks up and he like picks like actual dust out of the air and like wipes it on himself and continues, and it makes the whole scene interesting. And that's, to me, that's the thing that improv needs, is like what's in the space, as opposed to like, well, your game is, I'm a chatty cat and you're a scrubby dog, and no matter what happens, I'm chatty cat, you're scrubby dog. Like, I'd rather one of the dog be like, when did I get a collar? Like, like, it's interesting to me.
Why am I not free?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Right there.
How long did you think till you found your voice in improv? Your own.
I still don't think I have a voice.
He doesn't.
As far as like when I play, because when I'm performing, I just see myself as an improviser who should be trained at doing everything that is improv well, right? I don't see like I'm not. I think it was a long time ago in Mick Napier's class back in Chicago at the Annoyance Theater. He was going around the class saying he was making everyone. The class was sort of choosing. Let's have this person do something that they've never done. Let's have this person do something that they've never done. A character they've never played. Something they've never done. To challenge everybody. And he went around the room and he got to me, and no one could come up with anything. No one could come up with anything that basically I wouldn't try, or that I haven't already tried, that would make me uncomfortable. And to me, that's just a good balanced player. That's not a voice. Like I'm not the straight guy, but I'm not the character guy, right? I don't think I have to me, that's what a voice means. Like your voice is like, here's the thing you do, right? I don't think I have that.
Well, people would say that Miles and I go dark a lot, and I think that's not a voice. I think that's just the sort of things that we would rather. I would rather watch True Detective than Kimmy Schmidt, right? So, like, because of my own personal preference and like what I'd rather watch on television, I'd rather also investigate that element of a scene over like something peppy and fun. I mean, sometimes it's fun to be peppy and fun, but personally, I grew up watching The X-Files when I was like 6. So like I think that's the thing that you might identify as voice is just a natural outcropping of your own personal interests in fiction and.
Yeah, I could. If you would, who has a voice in improv? Who do you think has a distinct, like, this is their voice?
I think that when I started out doing improv personally, I found that I was trying to mimic moves and do what I saw other people doing on stage until like I started falling into my own ways I
I don't think. I think what you're describing as a voice, what you really mean is like, when did you finally accept that you were enough, and to be you?
That's what I meant. Thanks, Mom.
I know. I'm just saying because what you just described was every improviser's process was like, I will watch all these other players doing all these things. I learned from that, and eventually I realized that, hey, my own reactions work if I just listen to them and basically do things right. So yeah, so I found out that I was enough. That's my voice.
I never had that fear.
All right, do you have something right there?
Okay, this is a broad question, so you can answer it how you wish. Maybe if you want to allocate it to your experience in LA, but female in comedy and working through that. What's your take on it?
I don't believe I've ever.
You're a woman?
Yeah, that I don't write from any perspective. When people hire me, it's because I have a weird or eccentric voice. It's not because I have a female voice. And when I wrote for SNL, that was what they were like, your packet is crazy. And they wanted me to like sort of like shuttle me into this like Will Forte role in writing of like weird stuff. And it wasn't that I was taking over a female writer slot. It was just weird shit. I know, oh God, I'm going to get in so much trouble. I don't have an agenda. I mean, like, I believe in equality of performers and everything, but I think that the strength of women in comedy comes from just being comedians. It's not from being women comedians. Like, the strength of men comedians isn't that they're men in comedy, it's that they don't think of themselves as anything but comedians. And so the best way to break down a barrier or to be a writer that's hired beyond gender or beyond race or beyond anything is just like to be a comedian without any fucking thing that you're bringing into the room with you. Like I wasn't hired for the Eric Andre show for to be a woman in that room. I was hired because they were like, hey, you submitted a thing where Eric is set on fire in front of the audience and you burn him as long as you can before setting him out. And that's not like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, it was just the thing that I thought it was funny. So I think a lot of people handicap themselves by being like, and I know this isn't the politically correct thing to say, like by being the gay writer or the black writer or the female writer or any of those things, just be a writer or just be a comedian, just be an improviser. Like, if something's unfair on stage, don't step into it to fix it for like a social equality reason. Like, let it fail. And if people learn from that, fine. But, you know, I don't.
No, I understand what you're saying. I mean, because my experiences being a woman in comedy are vastly different. It's difficult. It's difficult being a lady in comedy. No, I understand what you're saying. And actually, the last thing you were saying is like, it's one of those things that people forget. It's like, if something bad is happening on stage, like if you're doing a scene about a racist, right, you got to play a racist, right? So hopefully you make fun of the racist, you make the racist look bad, but a lot of players think, I don't want to play a racist, that's wrong. It's like, yeah, but it's happening. And to me, yeah, let the show, if your show winds up saying, you know what, racism is right, I'm pretty sure your show didn't make a convincing argument, but let your fucking show finish what it wanted to say instead of trying to correct it on stage. You explore, you find that. Yeah, other than that, I can't say anything about being a woman in comedy.
Yeah.
All right, anything else? Take one more if there is one. All right.
Yes, sir. Do you ever take your improv to the street? What I mean by that, take it off the stage, go into the 7-Eleven, do improv straight up through there, go in and just practice your wares on the street?
No.
Nope.
All right. Thank you very much.
I've been watching his tapes, I've been watching his footage. He's faster than you, he's stronger than you. Okay? But you got this. You hear me? You got this. I need you to go out there, I need you to lay down. Come on. I need a skinny left. You know your skinny left can take anybody by surprise. Give me that skinny left, and then you clock him over the top. Come on, buddy. Don't do this to me. I don't want you to die out there.
You're terrible. Terrible coach. He's terrible.
What are you talking about?
Like one, you just told me he's faster than me, strong with me. My best move you call a skinny left. He's like insulting to my move. A skinny left. I just call him a weak ass punch. A weak ass
No,
punch.
I never called it weak.
Call it
Skinny guys
skinny?
can be scrappy. Abraham Lincoln could
Oh,
fight
I'm a
anybody.
skinny, scrappy guy going. I'll get some behemoth out there.
Here, I'll show
You don't want me to die? I'm out.
No, watch. Here.
No, it's just off. He just blew up man's head. He punched me in the head and his head blew up.
Come on.
I am out.
I didn't want to tell you this, but I got somebody here today. And well, I was gonna tell you after the match, but hold on, I'll get her. Stay where you are, man. Daddy, are you gonna fight the man that killed Mommy? I heard you were gonna fight him when I came to watch. I know you say never come to your fights, but
You're supposed to be in the hospital.
they said it wouldn't make a difference. So they let me come watch.
Oh yeah, Daddy's gonna fight the man who killed Mom. I'm gonna fight him. He's probably gonna kill me.
What? No, we won't. You got that skinny left. You know, I would have wanted to be a boxer.
You don't want to be a boxer. Look, it doesn't matter. You
I know.
have weeks left, maybe.
Yeah, but one of those weeks, one of those nights is this night. I'm gonna watch take that guy out, get revenge. Daddy.
I love you too, baby girl.
They're putting me ringside, so I gotta go for the game. Hey, it's alright. Go on.
That was fucked up, man. You brought my little girl down here.
And I don't got a choice, alright? I need you to win this fight. I got a lot of money on it. Hey, what's that look?
You told my little girl that man killed her mother. That's fucked up shit.
Yeah, but I'm a good coach and I know how to get you riled up. So you ready to go? Or you gonna be
I gotta go, alright? I gotta go. My little girl's fucking dying. She wants to see me fight this person who didn't kill her mother.
Come on.
I just did that. What?
There it is. There it
Here
is.
goes Skinny.
Oh,
So it's lunchtime. You probably got a pump, huh? I was just swinging by, seeing how everyone's doing in their cubes.
yeah, I got a pump.
You got a pump, all right?
Yep.
Hey, I'm feminist. I'm all for
I know,
it.
Ricky. I've seen the shirt.
I'm wearing it right now.
It's hard. The most feminist thing you could do right now is maybe give me a little privacy. Just a little. But, you know.
Why? It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing a woman does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what boobs are for. They're for feeding your babies.
Yeah.
If you can't
I
be home
agree,
and feed your baby, you gotta pump that boob. is that thing?
It's a pump. What do you mean, what the fuck is this thing?
Why is there a pull start on this thing? Gas powered? Oh, fuck no, I'm not watching this.
If it looks like I need help, just, grab me and pull me off of it.
Ah.
Come on. All right. Can you brace me? Just brace me. Here we go.
It just sucked the whole fucking life out of her. She put on this fucking pump and it started going. And it's the first, almost immediately you knew all the milk was gone. And it was like right to fucking blood and tissue. And then it kept sucking. I can't stop seeing it. I couldn't turn it off. It was gas power. I didn't know where the power switch was on it. So it just kept running until you could hear her ribs cracking. Got sucked into it. Piece by piece, she was sucked into this fucking thing. Her head wouldn't go in because her head was big enough. But oh God.
Can I see that picture you took of her before she died?
What?
Can I see that picture you took of her before she died? You know what I'm saying? And the titties were out. Before she gets sucked into the machine.
Look, I was you 30 minutes ago. But I have changed. All right, I am not going to show you that titty picture.
Alright, then I'll just
She was trying to help her child. Oh my God, her child.
write down. Pussy, motherfucker.
What?
Won't show me a photo.
Why would you write that down?
Crime scene.
How the fuck is that part of a police report?
Alright, you're free to go.
You're an animal. You disgust me. Who's gonna tell her? Who's gonna tell her child?
I don't know, that's not my job.
Why'd you just do that? You make your own fucking siren. Sitting in an office, you make your own fucking siren noise.
Alright.
You're a sick fuck.
Can you send me the next one, please?
No, I'm not doing any fucking work for you. I'm leaving.
Send me to the next one.
All right.
Yeah, you're pretty cute. You must be the cutest one at the office now. Does that make you feel?
I'm not gonna argue.
All right.
That's terrible.
What? Oh yeah, right. Awful.
You might run across some interesting emails between she and I, where I recommended a certain device. That isn't technically designed to milk your breasts.
Ah, wow! I don't get a lot of visitors out here in Wyoming, but well, I guess you know most about the farm. We got the largest factory farm in the United States of America. All of our equipment here is patented. It's proprietary, which means you can't get it anywhere
could sell one.
How much money?
I will pay you, and if someone comes and asks for it, give it to them.
How much money are we talking about?
$50,000.
Yeah. I'll make that titty shredder for you.
Those shoes you designed are killing people. Those shoes you designed are killing people.
Well, that's how they took the risk. I told people I would give them a shoe that allowed them to jump higher, run faster. But everything comes at a price. You don't just shake hands with
People
Satan.
are exploding. Their feet are exploding off their bodies.
Pump it up so much. If you pump it up, what?
You should tell them that.
That's not my responsibility.
It is your responsibility.
No, it's not.
You did not tell us that if you overpump the shoe, it would explode.
What?
We wouldn't have marketed it.
Oh, give me a... Hold on 1 second. Hold on. You think if you put infinite air into a tire, it won't blow up? You think if you just pump up a basketball forever, it'll just get bigger and bigger and bouncier and bouncier? This isn't my job. I can't teach the entire American public about science. You should know. Keep putting air into a thing and it'll burst.
That little girl pumped her shoe 8 times. That is not an unreasonable amount of pumps into a shoe. Our competitor's brand lets you pump it up to 20 times.
Well, your competitor's getting less air into the shoe with each pump.
My competitor has customers with feet.
You asked me! You asked me for a design! You asked me! You said, hey, I know you're trying to cure AIDS! Can you make us a shoe? So I did! I made a shoe! God damn it, I made a shoe and I can't sleep at night! Isn't that enough?
Look,
What?
we gotta get out of here. Everyone's coming. Everyone's gonna be coming for us.
Wait a minute. There's a way out of this room?
There is for me.
You have to take me with you. Making shoes.
Why don't you go back to working on that? What
Now,
about
fuck you, I know what they. I'm following you out of the room. But I just watch you. I'll watch you with my eyeballs. Go ahead. Go away. No. Oh, this is great. I just ate lunch.
We'll both just stay here.
Great.
Oh, you just had lunch?
Yes, I just ate lunch.
God damn it.
I'm fine for a while.
Let's get breakfast.
Oh, man, you're gonna get hungry. Then you gotta get out of the room. I'm just gonna watch you. Might as well do it now. We can go on a road trip. I've never been to Pennsylvania.
Why did I let you drive?
I don't know where I'm going. Yeah, all right. Can you pull out the Thomas guide? Pull out the Thomas guide.
Thomas guy.
Yeah, the Thomas guide. Pull out the Thomas guide.
This thing is completely outdated.
What do you mean outdated? What year is
Look,
it?
it's 1953.
Where? The big roads will still be there. The little ones, we're going to Pennsylvania. Is the bell still there? What the fuck is that? The fuck
Got
is
out of
that?
my phone!
Yo, what?
I kept you in that room that long.
I don't know.
I'm a monster.
Marking check marks off, and then eventually it was just the pattern on the walls.
Oh!
My daddy's got a fight tonight, and I wanna. If he needs help, I wanna rescue him.
So you want to get in shape for a fight tonight?
Yeah.
We better get to work. All right, first thing you want to do, right here. We got about 500 pounds on this. All right? Yeah, get under there, get your hands on it. All right? Lift that. What the fuck?
I can't feel pain.
That doesn't mean that has nothing to do with super strength. You just moved the 500-pound barbell like it was nothing.
I can't feel pain. They said that my nerves are fried from constant use.
How do I get that? Whatever you got, I want it.
It's a blood disease.
I want it. If it makes you that fucking strong, I fucking want it.
If I give you my blood disease, will you finish my training?
You don't need training. You're a freak. You are super fucking strong.
No, I don't know how to hit.
Do that. Hit something. That's how you hit.
Okay.
Oh, I gotta do that?
Yeah, you gotta put it in me.
You're too young. I can't do that. Couldn't you?
I am 9 years old today.
Yeah, I know. You're a little kid. I can't put it in you.
All right.
All right?
Yes, whatever your story was won't ever get finished. Thanks for the lesson.
Be safe, kid.
Okay. Out.
Aw. My boy.
Sorry.
You came in here so easily. Why are you ripping everything up now?
Because it was the other side, so I was there because I thought it was gonna be here. Hey, you're gonna kill it out there, all right? All right, come on.
All right.
Okay. What are you thinking? What's in your head?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen of the MGM in Vegas, we are proud to announce tonight's main event. In this corner, weighing in at 208 pounds, your heavyweight champion, Johnny Lubavitch. And in the far corner, your challenger for tonight, weighing an astounding 1,300 pounds. The man who wears no gloves to fight, and we've okayed it. MGM is terrified to announce Chargo Clunt.
Ah! Ah!
We're just gonna ask Chargo not to yell in any particular direction, since his voice makes people's heads explode. All right, everybody. Drinks are half price. Ding ding. I don't know. Ding. Ding! Alright, round one! That's round one! Everybody go to your corners! Hey, what are you doing? What are you fucking doing?
Staying alive is what I'm doing.
I'm staying alive! He's gonna win on points!
He knocked out the person by yelling!
You're gonna give him a chance to do that to you? Huh? Is that what you want? Chargo, kill! Kill Chargo!
Keep moving!
Kill Chargo, kill!
Keep moving!
Kill! Kill Chargo! Here's kitten! Go on, Jeremy, go.
The fuck is
I
that?
don't know, man. Just fucking hit him once. Hit him once. It'll be. Remember your wife.
He didn't kill my fucking wife! You bag of shit!
Yeah, but shit thinks he did. Fucking take a swing.
Prick, you son of a bitch.
Ding ding! I'm gonna have a second round.
Left if you've ever been skinny. In all my years. In all my years ringside. I haven't seen it. To recap, ladies and gentlemen. Yargo cunt. Chargo clunt. Chargo clunt. The most feared man in boxing. First, bit off his opponent's arm at the elbow. Stuck his arm in his mouth up to the elbow and bit it off. And then a little girl got into the ring, squashed his head like a grape, reached down his neck, started pulling out organs and screaming wee.